Chapter 9, The Founding of Narnia. The lion was pacing to and fro about the empty land and singing his new song. It was softer and more lilting than the song he had called up the stars and the sun, a gentle rippling music. And he walked and sang, as he walked and sang, the valley grew green with grass. It spread out from the lion like a pool. It ran up the sides of the little hills like a wave. In a few minutes, it was creeping up the lower slopes of a distant mountain, making that young world every moment softer. The light wind could now be heard ruffling with the grass. Soon there were other things beside the grass. Higher slopes grew dark with heather. Patches of rougher and more bristling green appeared in the valley. Diggory did not know what they were until one began coming up quite close to him. It was a little spiky thing that threw out dozens of arms and covered these arms with green and grew larger at the rate of about every inch every 2 seconds. There were dozens of these things all around him now. When they were nearly as tall as himself, he saw what they were. Trees, he exclaimed. The nuisance of it, as Polly said afterwards, was that you weren't left in peace to watch it all. Just as Diggory said trees, he had to jump because Uncle Andrew had sidled up to him and was trying to go pick his pocket. It wouldn't have done Uncle Andrew much good if he succeeded, for he was aiming at the right-handed pocket because he still thought the green rings were homeward rings. But of course, Diggory didn't want to lose either. "Stop!" cried the witch. "Stand back. No, further back. If anyone goes within 10 paces of either children, I will knock out his brains." She was poising her hand of the iron bar that she'd torn off the lamppost, ready to throw. Somehow, no one doubted that she would be very good shot. "So," she said, "you would steal back your own world with the boy and leave me here." Uncle Andrew's temper at last got the better of him. "Yes, ma'am, I would," he said. "Most undoubtedly I would. I should be perfectly in my rights. I have been most shamefully and most abominably treated. I have done my best to show you such civilities as were in my powers. And what has been my reward? You have robbed, I must repeat, robbed a highly respectable jeweler. You have insisted on my entertaining you to an exceedingly expensive, not to say ostentatious lunch, though I was obliged to pawn my watch and chain in order to do so. And let me tell you, ma'am, that none in our family have the habit of frequenting pawn shops, except for my cousin Edward, and he was in Yemery. During the indigestible meal, I'm feeling the worst for it at this very moment. Your behavior and conversation attracted the unfavorable attention of everyone present. I feel I have been publicly disgraced. I shall never be able to show my face in that restaurant again. You have assaulted the police. You have stolen. Oh, stow it, governess. Do stow it, said the cabbie, watching and listening the things present, not talking. There was certainly plenty to watch and to listen to. The tree, which Diggory had noticed, was now a full-grown beech whose branches swayed gently above his head. They stood on cool green grass and sprinkled with daisies and buttercups. A little way off, along the riverbank, willows were growing. On the other side, tangles of flowering currant, lilac, wild rose, and rhododendron closed them in. The horse was tearing up delicious mouthfuls of new grass. All this time, the lion's song and his stately prowl to and fro, backwards and forwards, was going on. What was rather alarming was that at each turn he came a little nearer. Polly was finding the song more and more interesting because she thought she was beginning to see a connection between the music and the things that were happening. When a line of dark firs sprang up on the ridge about 100 yards away, she felt that she was connected with a series of deep, prolonged notes which the lion had sung a second before. And when he burst into rapid series of lighter notes, she was not surprised to see primroses suddenly appearing in every direction. Thus, with an unspeakable thrill, she felt quite certain that all things were coming out of the lion's head. When you listened to his song, you heard things he was making up. When you looked around, you saw them. This was so exciting that she had no time to be afraid. But Diggory and the cabbie could not help but feel a little nervous at each turn of the lion's walk. As for Uncle Andrew, his teeth were chattering, but his knees were shaking so that he could not run away. Suddenly, the witch stepped boldly towards the lion. It was coming on, always singing with a slow, heavy pace. It was only 12 yards away. She raised her arm and flung the iron bar straight at its head. Nobody, least of all Jadis, could have missed at the range. The bar struck the lion fair between the eyes. It glanced off and fell with a thud in the grass. The lion came on. Its walk was neither slower or faster than before. You could not tell whether it even knew it had been hit. Though its soft pads made no noise, you could feel the earth shake beneath its weight. The witch shrieked and ran. In a few moments, she was out of sight among the trees. Uncle Andrew turned to do likewise, tripped over a root, and fell flat on his face. The children could not move. They were not even quite sure they wanted to. The lion paid no attention to them. Its huge red mouth was open, but open in song, not in a snarl. It passed by them so close that they could have touched its mane. They were terribly afraid it would turn and look at them, yet in some queer way they wished it would. But for all the notice it took of them, they might just as well have been invisible and unsmellable. When it passed them and gone a few paces further, it turned past them again and continued its march eastward. Uncle Andrew, coughing and spluttering, picked himself up. "Now, Diggory," he said, "we've got that woman, and the brute of the lion is gone. Give me your hand and put your ring on at once." "Keep off," said Diggory, backing away from him. "And keep clear of him, Polly. Come over here beside me. Now I warn you, Uncle Andrew, don't come one step closer or I will vanish." "Do what you're told this minute," said Uncle Andrew. "You're extremely disobedient, an ill-behaved little boy." All right, let's stop there and then continue.